Say it's 1959 and you had a very good Christmas and you got a Strat, just like Buddy Holly's, and you got a 1959 Fender Vibrolux. Now, your world and your expectations of what this should and could sound like are very different in 1959 than our expectations today. For instance, this position on a Strat did not exist. It was a three-way: neck, middle, or bridge. Smart guys started wedging little bits of matchstick in to make it give those in-between positions. But odds are you just got this for Christmas. That's not in your wheelhouse. So what do you want to sound like? Odds are one of the first things you would play would be. That's what you're expecting an electric guitar to sound like. You know, it's just kind of a louder acoustic. You also go crazy into the middle position. You're really out there, man. That's what your goal is. But wait, you've got a vibrato, a tremolo. So now when all your buddies are wanting to play a doo-wop, you can do this all day long. And if you feel a little more sophisticated, so that's what you're expecting this to be. It's clean. The vibrato sounds great. There are no issues. Now, that's 1959. Say, though, that you're a 19-year-old John Lennon and you're playing Hamburg and you scored one of these. Well, you need to be louder than this. What happens when you turn up louder? Well, you just died and went to heaven. You're sounding like your heroes. That sounds so cool. But that's, a single coil pickup. In his case, it's a Rick. In my case, it's bridge on a Strat into an almost dimed Vibrolux. Well, that's still not all that loud. It's not that much louder than the clean stuff. But, compared to what you had before is amazing. And later you'll step up to bigger amps. The entire world stepped up to bigger amps. And these kind of sat in pawn shops and in people's garages. And then in the 70s, guys like Joe Walsh started finding these things in the old champs and putting them to very different uses. If you don't know Joe Walsh, he's a lot more than just that guy with the kind of the novelty songs in the 80s and 90s, or the guy from the Eagles. He was an incredible guitarist with the James Gang. Incredible guitarist with the Eagles and incredible guitarist even on those novelty songs. But he was also really crucial in promoting 58, 59, 60 Les Pauls to other players. You know, that's why Jimmy Page has his because he was convinced by Joe Walsh that he must, and Joe Walsh was right about that. But Joe would start getting these little Fender Tweeds and putting these high output pickups in them, and you get. And what's great about this is that you can actually stand to be in the room with that level of gain without going deaf. More crucially, if you're in the studio in the 70s where everyone was concerned with baffling, you can actually isolate this from the drum mics and stuff, though increasingly this would have been done as overdubs. Sorry, I'm still on my first cup of coffee in the morning. I didn't know there was going to be a quiz. But it's just such a cool beast. And if you need to, it will still. Now, here endeth the history lesson. I'm sure a lot of you guys already knew all that, but you know, it's good to put the intent of the amp in context. Does the tremolo have issues at high gain? Yeah, it begins to. Are they ameliorated a little bit by what I did? Yeah, a lot of the negative behavior of the stock amp has been sweetened by what I did. It cannot eliminate the full artifacts if you have the high gain up with the tremolo. The amp was never designed for that. Later Fender vibrato circuits, like say the 64 through 69 Vibrolux, you could turn it up all day long and not get those artifacts because they use a very different kind of tremolo in that amp. Very different kind of vibrato circuit. I'm going to do some freeform playing just to give some other colors that I didn't touch on in the quote history lesson part. A note on what you've been hearing it through. This is a 10-inch Celestion Gold Alnico speaker in this old Vox Thomas organ cab. Should be fairly reasonably realistic, given that this would have a pine cab waiting for it home, hopefully with an old Alnico Jensen, which is a very different sounding speaker. But of the 10s I have here in an open back cab, the Alnico Gold is going to be the closest. Now I'm just going to play a little bit, some different guitars, not too long, nothing too detailed, just get a sense of the character of the amp. For those of you who heard Strange Brew, that's actually lifted directly from Crosscut Saw by Albert King at Stax.